Good evening, everyone. You know, each time I do that with a group of adults, I'm used to students. When I say good evening or good morning, boy, do I get a reply. So I have to do that again. Good evening, everyone. There we go. There we go. Much better. Hey, can I just say this? We've made it. Can you believe that we actually are here? This is a historic night. And I've told the teachers, and I'm telling you now, that remember this night, because it is a historic night to celebrate the opening of your new school, our new James W. Lintott Elementary. All right. That's not supposed to happen. That's my lesson, never to applaud for my own line, and then I'm going to put that on the mic right now. My name is Bob Hunt, and I have the privilege of being your child's principal. And on behalf of our assistant principal, Ms. Brenda Pullman, our assistant superintendent, Mary Lou Bissett, Superintendent Ed Rothland, our wonderful school board, James Lintott himself and his family, and our fantastic teachers and staff, I want to welcome you all to our grand opening on this Wednesday evening, August 29th, 2018. All right. All right, we're going to begin this evening the same way that we start every single day of school at our elementary school, and that's with the Pledge of Allegiance. And the way we do that is we always have our students get on the loudspeaker and lead us all through the Pledge of Allegiance. So I'm going to have 4 lovely students. They got their T-shirts on. They're looking good. Come on up here, guys. They're a little nervous, but we're going to have the Pledge of Allegiance there. All right, please rise. All right, hand over your heart. Ready? Begin.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. Stay here. Can I hear your names?
Taylor Armitage, Tinsley Tobin, Jaden Obermeyer, Landon Liao.
And would you like to say something to everybody?
Welcome to our new school.
Yeah. Here we have fun. You guys can have that. Good job. That's what it's all about right there. All right. My paper didn't blow away. As I hope you can see, we are beyond excited for this event. It's been a long time coming. 1 year ago, on our first day of school at Cascade, when I met with the teachers on our first opening day, I said, guys, 1 year from now, we'll be doing our open staff meeting at our new school. Do you remember that, teachers? Yeah? Well, we've had that meeting. And we celebrated that, having our first meeting. But now we're in the process of planning and preparing and getting ready to serve all of you and your children and give them the best education in the best environment, in the best facilities around. And also today, it was kind of funny, I had a teacher share something with me. She wanted me to know and she wanted me to pass on to you guys, so I'm going to do that. So all those teachers that you see over there, you added up all the years of experience, and it comes up to 631 years of experience of going to be educating your kids. Now that's pretty fantastic. Yeah, we can applaud for that. Now what I reminded them, though, is that just makes you sound really old. Yeah. See, I wasn't in that. No, I was in that. That's where the number got spiked up a little bit. Well, for all of you, I hope that what you realize when you enter those doors, which you'll have that opportunity here in just a little bit. When you go through those doors, I hope you all recognize that the planning, the design that went into James W. Lintott was centered around what is best for students, what is best for teachers, to facilitate the environment and the culture that best promotes the successful teaching and learning of preschool students, kindergarten students, first grade students, and second grade students. Tonight there are some very special guests to speak, including Mr. Lintott himself, so that's going to be great. Right now I would like to turn the mic over to one of our fantastic Chehalis School Board members, and that's Dr. Roberts.
Good evening, everybody. Can you hear me on this? Okay. What an awesome night for this. The weather's cooperating here in Washington. That's a good start. So, like to welcome you all. And basically, 2 weeks ago, Ed approached me and said, "Hey, will you do the board welcome to the new school?" I said, "Sure, I can talk to 20 people. That's fine. 10's better. And how many people are going to be there?" And Ed's like, "Probably about 20 plus." So, thank you for that, Ed. But no, this is truly an awesome night. It has been an experience from the beginning, from the creativity going into what the school was going to look like from the first bond to what you actually see here today. A complete transformation through a lot of energy, a lot of creativity, and obviously some great donations. And so the first thing along the way was, of course, the donation from the Shaw family, Carolyn and Gail Shaw, donating this 43 acres here that we have the privilege to build on, that we're going to, from this point forward, be known as the Shaw Learning Campus. So this evening, as we honor Jim Lintott, we also want to welcome the inaugural class of students and teachers as we open this new school, Jim Lintott Elementary. We're thrilled to present this beautiful modern school that's going to meet the students' needs and expectations now and in the future. And being on the school board, I've been on the board for the past 10 years. And having the opportunity to go around and talk to superintendents from other schools, board members from other schools, I tell you what, the way this community supports this school and our students is nothing short of inspiring. I truly believe this is the best district in the state when you listen. It's a place that I am glad to call home. So, I'm a proud parent of 4 kids who have all gone to the Chehalis School District. I have 2 that have graduated. I have 1 that's actually a freshman this year, and 1 that actually gets to start 2nd grade right here next week at the new Lintott Elementary. And so it's an exciting time for me and my family. So on behalf of the board, my family, and the Chehalis School District Board of Directors, we want to welcome you and thank you for showing up tonight. And so at this point, I'd like to introduce Ed Rothland.
Good evening and welcome again. My name is Ed Rothland. It's a privilege to serve this school district as a superintendent. Everything what Brian said, I echo. It's kind of a dream come true to come to a community like this that supports the kids in the community like they do. To complete a project like this, and you can see that we're not quite done yet, but it takes quite a team. And I'm going to start with a team of people that I work with every day that care a great deal about this community, work very hard for this school district, and that's my bosses, our board of directors, your board of directors. I know our board president is stuck in traffic coming home from the East Coast. He's trying to get back for this event, and I think he'll make it eventually, but he's not here, and that's Joe Clark. Other board members, if you would just stand and make a little noise. Brennan Bailey, Vicki Daniels, and Colleen State. Thank you. Also, thank you, Mr. Hunt, and your staff. Normally, these classrooms are still getting ready for the start of school, which is scheduled for Tuesday. But because of this big event today, they came in early and got it all done, and the place looks great, and thank you for what you did. Also, Brenda Pullman and Donna Tinney, who organized this whole event. Thank you for that. Appreciate that. And now I'd like to introduce the kind of the brains behind the project, and that's the architects and the contractors. Our board of directors and a committee selected, took a long time to select architects, and we're very pleased with our selection. And I think if you haven't seen the building when you go in, I think you're going to agree with me that they did a great job listening to teachers about how they teach, and they know how students learn, and I think we got a great product. So speaking from McGranahan Architects tonight, I have Chris Stamen.
Thank you, Ed. So how will we know that the project is successful when it's completed, which is now? That's a question that we explored with the school planning committee when we first started the project, which consisted of a group of 18 representatives from the 3 elementary schools and other community members who actually donated a 4-hour chunk of their summer per week to explore opportunities of the design of the project on this property. The result of that effort was the creation of a vision and project goals that we used to inform the design as we designed, which takes about a year to design these 2 projects. The vision is to create a welcoming and safe campus which fosters a love of learning by inspiring students and cultivating a sense of belonging. So that was the vision behind what you see today. The goals, we had a long list of goals, some of which included creating places that allows students and teachers to collaborate, explore, be independent, spark curiosity, be healthy, and stay connected. So it took a lot of hard work to meet these expectations, and I would like to recognize some of the groups who contributed. If you're here, please stand, wave your hand, and then we can hold our applause to the end. So as I mentioned, the 18 folks that were part of the school planning committee, I think a lot of them are kind of in that region. I've seen a few familiar faces. District leadership, so Ed, Mary Lou, and Heather. I really enjoyed working with them. I think something that, a new process, especially for Ed, a lot of decisions that we forced upon him to make. And what I really enjoyed was he was making decisions not only to meet the need of today, but really also thinking about what the future need was going to be, which is really a hard, difficult job to do. The Chehalis School Board, we had some interaction with them, kept them up to date on the design and the process. Something that you may not know is that this project actually started out as a remodel of Olympic and one new school on this site. They allowed us to question the approach that was put into the bonds, and then trusted us with some of our guidance that got us to this new school approach. Took a lot of hard work to get to this point, but really appreciative of the school board to allow that trust and listen. Management services were provided by ESD 112 and CSG. And then the support of the City of Chehalis, the building department, Public Works, and planning. They were also a big help to get this project done on time. Our design team, I stand here as the architect, but there's a lot of people behind me that put a lot of work and effort into this. Civil and landscape design was by SCJ Alliance. Structural engineering from PCS Structural Solutions. Mechanical and electrical engineering by Hargis Engineers. The architects, designers, and support staff with me at McGranahan Architects. And we've got a long list of other consultants. And then lastly, Forma Construction for taking our ideas that exist on paper and turning those into reality. So please help me to thank all those who have contributed. So to wrap things up, how will we know that the project is successful? The answer is really up to each individual, but hopefully you can see flashes of that project vision and those goals as you tour the school tonight and the campus. And most importantly, when time has passed and the newness is rubbed off, that hopefully in the future, these traits and elements that were behind the design and the intent still last for years to come. So again, thank you on behalf of the design team. It's been a really great pleasure working with the Chehalis School District and the community. Thank you.
Thanks, Chris. Another member of the team I'd like you to meet is Forma Construction. I don't know if you know a lot about the bid process for public jobs, but you don't pick your contractor. The lowest qualified bidder wins the job, and always makes you nervous because you never know who you're going to get. Fortunately, I can say now, we have Forma Construction. And not only that, when we went out to bid for Phase B of the project, which is Orange Smith Elementary, we had our fingers crossed. I know you're not supposed to do that, but we did, and we're hoping that Forma would continue with the second phase of our project, and they did win the bid, so we're happy to have them. So for Forma tonight, speaking for them is Dan Eigerbrod, Project Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Rothland. So, like he said, I had the pleasure of representing Forma as the project manager on this beautiful new school. I want to go into some facts about this school that, you know, they're fun facts and something that I think you guys may enjoy hearing. So, starting off, on this school, there were 350 tradesmen and women that actually put labor into this school out in the field. You know, many of these came from your community, which, you know, we always like to see. We like to see the community involvement, you know, where, you know, our tradesmen, the labor that goes into it actually comes out of, you know, the community that's the school's being built in. You know, they work through rain, sleet, snow, yeah, smoke, you know, and, you know, we got the school done. There were a total of 142 companies that, which consisted of, you know, subcontractors, suppliers, tier subcontractors that actually, you know, had their involvement, you know, in supplying, you know, the materials and labor to go into this school. Here's a fun little fact. There's 2,875 cubic yards of concrete placed on just the James Lintott Elementary School alone. If you put that into perspective, that's 11 miles of concrete sidewalk at 4 foot wide, so quite a bit of concrete here. Another little tidbit that, you know, I found interesting this morning, I started going through my emails, and I always sort my emails by the projects that I'm working on, and I saw that I had over 11,000 emails just on this one school. You know, I'm copied obviously on a lot of them, but, you know, there are some of those emails that keep you up at night. We had a good team around us, so, you know, we got to the drawing board the next day and, you know, obviously solved the issue at hand. So I want to thank the community of Chehalis for, you know, coming together and passing the bond. Without, you know, your guys' commitment to your community, you know, these new schools don't happen, and, you know, looking out for your kids and, you know, the future generations is something to be applauded. So special thanks, obviously, to the Chehalis School District. It was great working with Superintendent Rothland and his team of Mary Lou Bissett and Heather Pinkerton. It obviously shows, and I noticed from Superintendent Rothland that he deeply cares about this community. So one other thing I wanted to, you know, speak on behalf of is I know that Forma had a lot of fun building this project. I had fun at our weekly job meetings. It wasn't always just business, you know, there's jokes going around, and, you know, we got comfortable with the teammates that were around the table. I had fun on job walks. There's fun to be had at our job site lunches. And I also even had fun traveling the 30 minutes south from Tumwater to come down to this lovely Chehalis community. It sure does beat headed north. So over the next 8 months, you will see the Orrin Smith Elementary School transform, just like you saw this beautiful James Lintott Elementary. I'm looking forward to seeing this whole campus come together. It's a beautiful campus, and I can't say enough about your guys' community. Thank you.
Thanks, Dan. Next, I'd like to introduce to you, for some of you, a real familiar face, and that's Mr. Don Rash. Don started his career in Chehalis as assistant principal at WF West, and after that moved to right across the street here to Olympic as the principal at Olympic. Said he was going to retire, but went to work for AWSP, the Association of Washington School Principals, and is currently a board member for ESD 113. Don, I asked to chair our naming committee, and the naming committee made recommendations to the board to name these two buildings, James Lintott Elementary and Orrin Smith Elementary. So, Don is now here to introduce our guest of honor.
Thank you, Ed. First, I would like to thank the other members of the naming committee, and they are seated out here in front of us. We met multiple times, and we are quite proud of the recommendation that we made. It's my privilege to introduce Jim's family tonight. First, his mother, Virginia, not only a wonderful mother and grandmother, but also the Chehalis School District nurse for 30 years. Jim's late father also served the Chehalis School District as a long-time and much-loved elementary teacher. Jim's brother Ed is here with his wife Marlia and their son Robert, who I had the privilege of being his principal over at Olympic School quite a while ago. It is now my pleasure to welcome Jim's wife, May Leong, and their two children, Jade and Marcus. We all owe a very special thank you to May. Jim's most impressive generosity of financial support, plus the time, energy, and wisdom he continues to provide the Chehalis Foundation and our district are a joint decision that both Jim and May make together. Thank you, May. The committee was given a rather awe-inspiring task of making recommendations to the Chehalis School District Board of Directors on the naming of two wonderful elementary schools, something that doesn't happen often at all in a community. Our community does have a long tradition of naming schools and other civic facilities after significant Chehalians. WF West High School is the most widely known example of this. William F. and Blanche West donated the land where the high school is located, and they endowed a $2 million scholarship fund that has helped nearly 2,000 WF West Bearcats fund their college education. The West started a tradition of remarkable giving to children and education in Chehalis. Other examples include the Kaufmans, the Ingersons, the hundreds of Chehalis Foundation donors, the Gale Shaw family, who, as we've heard tonight, donated this land, and now the Smiths and the Lintotts. The naming committee therefore quickly headed down the natural path that led us to making the recommendation we did to the school board. Reasons for naming this school that stands next to us tonight are many. Our time this evening is not nearly long enough to review them all. Some specific details about Jim and some of the reasons the committee made their recommendation are detailed in your program, and they're also displayed permanently inside the school. So be sure to notice that when you enter the building tonight. Naming this school after Jim, some would say, would be an appropriate way to say thanks to him for the most significant generosity of financial resources, and as well as his support to the Chehalis Foundation, the school district, and the community. But the most important reason for naming it Lintott Elementary may be the message it gives current and future students of this school, that if you work hard and are persistent, you can rise as high as your hard work and talent will take you, even when you come from a small town like Chehalis. The extraordinary thing about Jim is that Chehalis is no longer his home. Jaden Marcus didn't grow up here, so his family won't personally benefit from the school improvements he has helped make a reality. But Jim is quick to say that this is his hometown and a great place to be raised. Jim says he will never be able to give back to Chehalis nearly as much as he received. He clearly believes in giving back to this community, the one that gave him a wonderful foundation. His humility is readily apparent. His generosity is unmatched. His dedication to his hometown is an inspiration and a model to us all. As I mentioned earlier, Chehalis has a long and wonderful tradition of giving back to this community. William and Blanche West set this tradition in motion over 60 years ago. It is now my distinct honor and privilege to introduce Jim, along with Orrin Smith, who we believe are our generation's W.F. West, and the namesake of this wonderful school, James Walter Lintott.
Thank you. Before I begin, I'd like to take a moment to honor a dear friend of mine who we all miss so dearly. Could I ask that we all share a moment of silence to remember Orrin Smith? Thank you. And thank you all for coming today. I'd especially like to thank my wife, May, who puts up with so much, and my two kids, Jade and Marcus, who are probably thinking if all of you only knew. My dad, Bob Lintott, was a fourth grade teacher at Olympic and then Bennett School. My mom, Virginia Lintott, was the school nurse for the entire district for more than 32 years. And for them, like so many of you here tonight, it was never a job, it was always a passion. Every day, they both had a chance to shape the lives, the health, the education, and the future of children. They both loved what they did and loved making a difference in those young lives. I am here today because in addition to having loving parents and a loving family, I had a community that cared about my life, my health, my education, and my future. I had teachers who took the extra time with me and gave me a love of learning. Mrs. Kelly didn't care that I couldn't color in the lines. And by the way, I still can't. Mrs. Rutledge made learning a competitive game, and I like to win. Mr. Eklund taught me to be creative in how I studied history. Unlimited extra credit was probably the greatest invention ever. And Mr. Bartell created a class currency, something else I found out I really, really liked. They and all my other primary school teachers cared so much. Now, to my high school teachers, I owe not only thanks, but probably a lot of apologies. For you see, in high school, I was so much smarter and so much more sure of everything than I am now. And I mean everything. So please forgive me. But I want you to know the teachers at WF West not only put up with me, they did everything they could to help me reach my potential. Mrs. Simpson did not complain when I showed up at 11 p.m. at her house to work on a National Merit Scholarship application. How was I to know she had already gone to bed? Mr. Fay went out of his way not only to really teach biology, but to help me grow intellectually. Mrs. Williams, though, gave morning, noon, and night, and weekends, and summers to me, and to her forensics team, to the cause. Her dedication to all of us was without equal. You know what's amazing? I graduated from here a long time ago, and today she is still providing that kind of care and dedication to her students. and the community as a whole. I had more support than anyone could ever hope for. For example, a local jeweler spent days with me when I was working on a 7th grade research project on gold, something else I have grown quite fond of. And prosecutors and judges spent time after work helping me learn about the law. I had scout leaders, Sunday school teachers, employers, and the dearest of friends, all willing to give of themselves. I had mentors from a certain local law firm that helped make my future possible. All of these people and the entire community created opportunities that changed my life. I am so excited about this new school because it's another example of this community creating something to help the children of Chehalis. Through the hard work of the Chehalis School Administration, the school board, and the community, you have all created a wonderful new environment for learning. Kindergarten through 2nd grade is the most valuable time in a child's education. This is the age where you can turn children into voracious readers, innovative problem solvers, lovers of math, budding scientists, inquisitive engineers, creative artists, and daring dreamers. It's at this age that you can instill confidence, self-discipline, teamwork, and joy. You will shape young students, you will shape their futures, and your legacy will continue for generations. Your support will give these children everything they need to succeed, and succeed they will. Every single child that walks through these doors has a brighter future because of all that you do. We can never forget that some of them have huge obstacles to overcome, but it's equally important to never forget that those obstacles are never as big as the love and the support that you will provide. Now, I cannot thank you enough for the huge honor I now have of being associated with the Chehalis School District and all of your incredible efforts. I look forward to my own continued involvement as we all strive to make the Chehalis schools better and better. From the bottom of my heart, thank you again, and thanks for caring about the kids who will walk through these doors. What this community did for me meant the world to me. This honor today means the world to me. And even more importantly, what you are doing for children now and in the future will mean the world to them as well. Thank you very much.
Yeah, one more applause for Jim Lintott. That's great. All right, Jim, you got me fired up. Now, my teachers know that I can stand up here and I can get fired up and we can talk about kids and about learning and the passion that we have to do that. And that's what I got to do. I just want all the parents that are out here, everything that we talked about, the brick that's been laid, the cement, it's all about kids and all about building relationships and getting kids off to the right foot. Jim mentioned that the most important years are those years of the kindergarten through 2nd grade. And I tell my teachers daily, we have a big talk at the beginning of school. The challenge that we have is to reach every single student. And it's all through doing that and doing it with families. Because we're all a team and a community. And that's what Chehalis School and Chehalis community is all about. Am I right? Yeah. So when I hear Jim talk about that, I want you to know that, Jim, we accept that challenge because I challenge our people to that every day. I accept that challenge, and the Chehalis School District accepts that challenge to get the most and the best out of every student here, and that's all part of the bonding with the family as well. So parents, you could trust that in this school, that that's what we do and that's what we live. Okay? So I'm so honored to be part of that. Thank you, Jim. All right. Get off my soapbox here a little bit. I get fired up. So anyway, it's the time that you've been waiting for. It is the ribbon cutting. And if you have not been in the school yet, I believe you're in for a treat. Because as Chris mentioned that this is designed, a lot of thought went into this. And like I said, I want you to be able to see that it's designed for kids and teachers to make a great environment and culture. So I'm going to give you we're going to have some directions here. Now I'm used to students following directions and teachers, so we'll see how well we do as adults. But we're going to start off with the Lintott family and all of his friends and close people that were up here up front. We're going to have the school board members and all of them. We're going to make our way over towards the front of the building, and we're going to have a ribbon cutting ceremony. And so we're going to let those folks go and stand up and make your way over there. And then I get to talk to the parents a little bit more while you're over here. I get your ear a little bit about the open house that's coming up. All right? So if we could just be patient. While they're doing that, Virginia, you can see, she's getting here. And as she said, he's 32 years of being a district nurse. So when I met her out in front of the school and we brought her the wheelchair and I was able, the privilege of wheeling her in, and we talked about her being a district nurse, and I said, well, let's stop somewhere on the way up to the library. Where do we want to go? And so our first stop was at the nurse's room, and she was like, this is a little bit different than the nurse's room that I had for 32 years. So yes, as you guys explore around, make sure you go to the administrative offices and look around the nurse's room and the conference rooms and the teacher lounge. Because parents, this is your building, and we want to make sure you take the time. It's a little bit different than a normal open house, because it's not very often, it's historic, that we get a brand new building that you get to explore. So you want to visit your child's classroom. As you enter those doors, there's going to be a school map on the little table with flowers on it there. There's a school map to be able to get you to your child's classroom. Also in the classroom, the teacher is going to track you down to be able to get important information from you about transportation. Are you going to be a bus rider, or are you going to be pickup? So make sure that you fill out that information, because we're all about safety. This year, if you've been part of Cascade, you know that in years past you had to find a parking spot somewhere around that school and come in and check out your student, because that's about safety. We're doing it completely different this year. Our plan is to be able to have you come in this area, which, by the way, all you see where you came in, that's all parents and cars. It's completely separate from busing, which is going to be coming in over by the middle school. So part of where you're sitting is the bus parking. It's going to be completely separate from the parent parking, which is fantastic design. Yeah, that is. That's good. But for pickup, we need to match. See, we're not like a middle school where you say, see you guys, and you run out to find your car. We're dealing with kindergarten and first and second grade students, so we need to make sure we match our students up with you. So you're going to hear about the plan, but right here from this turnout area all the way up to where the school van is up there, that's where you'll be going 3 wide, and you're going to be parked in that area. And there'll be plenty of help. And then you'll be 5 cars pull up at a time, and we're going to be bringing the students right out to you. So you don't have to find a parking spot and go into the school to sign out. So there's a way that we have a plan, and I think it's going to work well. But just be listening for that. See how good I could talk while we get everybody over there? All right, so we have quite a few. The people that need to get over there are. What you can do is you can make your way over there and just kind of watch. However, there's a couple things. The people that have students in the playground, once the ribbon cutting is done, then you can make your way to the playground, and the students will be sitting on the stairs there, so you can walk right up, find your student, and be able to do the open house with your student, okay? So they're going to stop playing. They're going to be sitting down and waiting for you. And then you have 2 choices. You can have a nice barbecue dinner now and then do the open house, or if you want to go into the building, do the open house, and then do the barbecue after. Hopefully there's a mixture and not everybody doing one thing at the same time, because there's a lot of people here. So I hope you all understand all those directions. All right. Well, if you want to make your way over there, we'll do the ribbon cutting, and then we get to go into our new school.